Well, you may not have heard, but Manchester City beat Inter Milan on Saturday to seal the treble. Of course, that dominates the news right across the globe. In England, history makers, the back page of the Daily Express. Heroes, but heroes with a 3 because they completed the third trophy.
I see. That's clever. That's really
Spain.
clever.
Historical Pep, of course, leading to the title. And L'Equipe saying Manchester City à la perfection.
What?
Well, it's like perfection, but Pep replaces the per, you see.
Wow.
Gary Marcotti's here, as is Frank Lebeouf. Now, Frank, I've got to be honest, we were criticised quite a lot from Manchester City supporters yesterday for not giving them enough credit, not giving them enough love for winning the trophy. What did you make of the game yesterday?
Well, I understand the importance of only winning, or just winning it, and I always say, that it's not about playing well when you play a final. It's about winning it. So they did it, but as a neutral point of view, I have to say that I was disappointed because didn't expect anything from Inter. I think they did what they had to do, and they almost had the chance to make the game being a little bit longer with some chances to get into extra time. But otherwise, disappointed by Manchester City in the way that I was expecting them to be more accurate in what they did. We barely saw Haaland and Bernardo Silva, for example. But they've been solid. They were patient and they did what they had to do. Won their first Champions League. So yeah, we've been harsh to maybe sometimes to the fans. But I always say that City didn't bother anybody by winning anything because they don't have history in the recent time, and now they're going to create because of the triple. I saw David Beckham reacting on that, so we can see that the enemy is coming up, and they're going to create the history. So we're going to be annoyed by their victories, very soon. But overall, I didn't enjoy the final because I was expecting much, but congratulations to the citizens because I think they deserve to get that trophy.
Gab, you're obviously at the final. Now, you've been to many finals. You have to admit that this one wasn't a classic, certainly when it came to quality.
I was there. I was engrossed. I loved it.
Of course you did. Of course you did, Gab.
Honestly. No, I don't know if it's like a weird French Cornish thing, because Jules it was a poor game, not quality. And I'm like, what do you want about? What he's got to finish 4-0, and then we can say City were great or 5. Look, I think we saw some very poor finishing. I think if you look at who had some of the worst performances on the pitch, it was Erling Haaland, and it was poor Romelu Lukaku, Lautaro Martinez. All these people missed chances. So if that's your benchmark, but and look, you can say I'm sad and Italian about this, but I loved watching. We talked about this the night before on Friday. What does Simone Inzaghi need to do? What is he going to try to do? Is he going to be brave enough to contain City, to create problems for City? He made City suffer. He made them suffer in the fact that for the first hour, it was really just a one Haaland chance that they created. And he made them suffer at the end when they were at all 6s and 7s, when you thought a goal up, City's just going to control the game and not create any chances and maybe score a second one. And instead, they weren't able to do that.
Shaka, did you watch the game?
I did, yeah. Were you going to ask me if I enjoyed it?
No, I feel it's like a leading question. I don't want to lead you down any paths.
No. I watched it. I enjoyed it for the fact that it was a Champions League final. I didn't enjoy it for the football and display. In all honesty, Inter Milan did exactly as maybe I thought they should, everything that they had to do. Going into this game, I think the sentiment was pretty universal, that City were the better team, that Inter were the underdogs. And it was on Inter to make sure and make a game out of this. And I thought they did that. On the other side of that same coin, City were poor by their standards. City were poor by as far as we expected them to be against on paper, a lesser opponent. But truth be told, ever since City beat Real Madrid, made easy work of Real Madrid, I don't think they've been particularly good. The game before Inter Milan was a final against Manchester United. Again, I didn't think Manchester City were particularly good, but they won it. And given some of City's own frustrations, Pep Guardiola's frustrations in this competition, over recent years. I don't think that bothers them, that they weren't good. They won it. That's what they needed to do. They did what was asked of them, and history will only show that. There have been many a Champions League winner that has not played particularly well, that you can argue maybe even didn't deserve it. History doesn't remember that.
Frank, can you empathise what he was saying about the players not at their best yesterday because of this obsession, because it's the Champions League, because that's what everybody has been talking about, that Manchester City have been missing?
Of course, and it's part of the game. We're humans, you know. They're not robots, and you cannot prepare them, and and put whatever you want in their brains. They ask to themselves questions about their abilities, about what they're going to do at that special moment, that special day. You never know. Sometimes you warm up, you say, "Well, I feel good," and you have a bad game, and sometimes the other way around. So. And it goes to so many wondering when you are in your hotel room. Oh my God, you want to pray, you want to be a believer of anything you could, because you want to make sure that you get something where you in fact hold nothing. That's the main concern. And you can be the best player in the world. You don't know how your teammates will behave as well. It's a collective sport. It's not because you're going to be the best that you're going to win, because your goalkeeper can make a mistake. Your striker can miss the big chance. So therefore, you wonder so much that you get the brain not fresh enough sometimes to see all the things very clear. I understand that, and I like the fact that he admitted that they didn't play at their level, because that was the truth. But at the end of the day, he's a great coach. He's not a good coach. He's a great coach, and they did what they had to do. They won it.
It's really interesting, Steve, to hear that, because as a coach, you can do everything, can't you? Get everything in place, prepare them as best as you think you can. But it comes down, as Frank said, you're dealing with humans, human emotions. You don't know how they are going to react when that whistle goes to kick off.
Right. I still don't believe that so many Man City players were so bad because the pressure of the occasion got to them. I just don't believe that every single one of those guys that had a disaster, it was because of the pressure. I've been in a situation where you're going for supposed big games and it hasn't been there. And then after the game and then time passes and you get to think about it, and then you start understanding what the problems were, fatigue. We didn't get the training right. There was probably, 2.5 weeks in between most of these guys kicking a ball. I mean, there are so many things that add up. Is there pressure in this game for them? Yes, there is. But I am not going along with the fact that it was the pressure of the occasion that made Manchester City so bad. I'm not going with that.
Go on, Cam.
Could I throw out another theory about maybe why Manchester City weren't at their level, in addition to all these factors about pressure and fatigue and all this other stuff? Maybe the fact that there was another team on the pitch that tried to stop them, and that tried to also play in this game and tried to impose their way of playing on them. Because you know what, we can go on about, is it the pressure? Why was Holland? Why do you only have one chance? Yeah, maybe Inter defended well against them. Maybe Francesco Chervi did a good job. Maybe Brozovic in midfield. This whole thing about City, before we were talking, City are going to boss the possession 70%. They didn't. They had 53% possession. They had, I'm sure you've gone through the XG and the shots on goal. They had their backside handed to them in that category. This isn't just because of the pressure that's put on them. It's not just because of fatigue. Inter also got to the end of all the competitions that they were in too. This is also because
which
Inter
part,
played
hold
well.
on a second, Gab. Which point are you talking about? They had the backside handed to them. And what?
In the last 20 minutes? Do you think it was part of Pep's plan? At 1-0 up, you don't control the game?
Oh, here we go. The last 20
No, I'm sorry.
Last 20 minutes.
Stevie, you're 1-0 up. You have a better team, and you concede 3 huge chances like that. Do you think this is part of seeing out the game, controlling the game?
Well, I think
1-0. I thought it was over. I thought they're going to score another 2.
Okay. To throw back at you what you're talking about. Well, there's other factors. You're talking about these chances that are so good. There was only one of those. Three times they had an opportunity, right, in the game. 3 times. The first two had absolutely nothing to do with Inter. Akanji made an absolute mess of the first one when he left it and Lautaro Martinez is on with Edison. The second one, when the header hits the crossbar, has nothing to do with Inter. It's a ball chucked in the box that Akanji, like a schoolboy, whiffed at. And then, of course, the one that Inter did make with a bit of play was a nice ball to the far post because Goossens is always going to out-jump Bernardo Silva. A great header back into the middle, and of course Lukaku should score and doesn't. So you've actually because of Inter's play, you've had one chance. What's the other one I'm missing?
There's the Lautaro Martinez where he doesn't square it back. There's the two Lukaku chances, including the one where he's through where he should have passed it. There's the
Lukaku chance. You're talking about the one when he goes through when Diaz is standing 12 inches away from him and he just shoots it straight at him, but it goes through his legs and the goalkeeper does that, swings his cap around, puts it on it. Oh wait a minute, you're going to tell me that they had a chance with the corner in the last touch of the game? No, they didn't. That's not a chance. It's a flick on at the near post that the goalie punched away. That's not a chance. If we're talking football here, let's talk football. They created one opportunity in the game. And as fantastic as they were, as fantastic, Gab, and I agree with you, the way he set the team out, the way they harassed City, the way they defended, the positional play, it was fantastic. But there's only one problem.
That's all I'm saying.
You have to try and score.
That's all I'm saying.
And you can't wait until you're 1-0 down and it's a cavalry charge and then start saying how great you are. Come on.
That's all I'm saying. You're great relative to your level and your resources. And I thought in the last 20 minutes that they were. And I think in the last 20 minutes, I expected City to control the game better and concede nothing. But that said, when we're going out, I'm listing all the things that, City not on their level and whatever else, and did they get it wrong in training? Can we also mention the fact that they faced an opponent that made it very difficult for them for the first hour because other than the Holland chance, City didn't produce anything.
I just said they were fantastic.
It's down to that too, right?
I just said they were fantastic.
Well, thank you.
I want to bring Frank. I want to bring you into the conversation,
in the
Frank.
Previous analysis of the pressure.
Yeah, I'm hearing Stevie and Gab, and I can understand what Gab says, but he's opening an open door. The thing is for me that we can all agree that Inter Milan had something to do with the Manchester City bad performance in a way, but it's been proven for during the season that whoever Manchester City played when they were at the top of the top, nobody could handle them. And it's been proven in the semi-final against one of the best teams we can consider, which, if it's not the best team in the world, Real Madrid. They didn't exist. Real Madrid didn't exist. So when they play with no fear, with their mind set up in a good way, they destroy everybody. And I really think that if De Bruyne, if Silva, if maybe Grealish, if maybe Allen would have played like the way they played against Real Madrid, even with the best defense, even with the best midfielder you can have in Inter Milan, they wouldn't have existed. So that's the thing I'm saying. Yes, they did what they had to do. Yes, they disturbed them. But can Manchester City be disturbed at that point that it's due to Inter Milan to make them play that bad? I go with Stevie in the way that the players didn't have the performances because of what they did on their own, not only because of Inter Milan's performance.
Let's take a look, shall we, at some of the Italian headlines that we saw. Tears of champions, not like that, dream interrupted, what a waste. Just some of the headlines that we saw. This is what Inzaghi had to say after the game. We deserved more. The last 25 minutes were there for all to see. It felt like the ball didn't want to go in. We hit the crossbar. There was a goal line clearance, a shot that hit a teammate. Everything happened. We played against Manchester City with our own strengths, and we did it very, very well. What's interesting, I thought that last headline was quite interesting, Gab, like what a waste, because Inter maybe didn't expect to come up against Manchester City and have the chances that they did.
I think that's exactly that. I think what Inzaghi's saying in some of the other quotes, he said, he said, I thought we deserved to go to extra time, which I think is fair enough. And I think even Pep would probably agree with that. But obviously, deserved for the way they played, for the chances that they had. but obviously they didn't take the chance. He's not saying that they deserve to win this game or that they're better than City. Let's be very clear on this. But certainly at the end, being there with those chances in the last few minutes, it looked as if Inter were going to score and they were going to go to extra time, and then who knows what would have happened there.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.